Hello, beautiful souls. Lori Rising here, Star Channel and Sacred Medicine Guide. Happy Leo new moon on August 16th at 4:38 a.m. Central Standard Time. And more precisely, happy Leo new micro moon. And what that means is the moon is going to be in its furthest path in its elliptical orbit from Earth. Now, this is an interesting lineup. I mean, let's get real. The whole lineup of where we are right now is pretty wild. It's really big, and things are happening at an absolute accelerated rate. So we started the month with a supermoon, a full supermoon, and that's where the moon is in its closest path to the Earth in its elliptical orbit. And this next moon, it's going to be in the furthest point on that path. And then we have a third moon in August, which is the second full moon, considered a blue moon in Pisces, which is going to be the spiritual healing and elixir to everything that we've been moving through and revealing and opening up, especially through this Venus retrograde, which is quite amazing that it's coming in Leo season. There's so much to get into, y'all, and I keep trying to make these videos shorter and shorter, but shit just keeps getting more and more big, expansive, and real that I'm like, ah! So we'll see where we land today. What's really important about the micro moon, with it being in the furthest path from the Earth, is that we're going to have even more star light to integrate. So I implore you to get out under the stars on the Leo new moon and let yourself remember. Let that starlight show you the way, because you're already integrating massive amounts of light from the Lionsgate Portal that we're in right now. More to say on that in a little bit. And also, this weekend, we have the Perseid meteor shower. So get outside every night under these stars and let yourself reawaken to that divine, full, centered, channeled self that you are, that remembrance of your divinity and your majesty, of how bright you came here to shine. And that's what I'm here to do with you. I'm here as a supreme guide in that unfolding path. So before we get into more about what is absolutely going down now, let's just welcome you to this channel, to the page. I'm so happy that you found us. Please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time I drop a video. I am always tapping into the collective and moving through my intuitive channel and my connection with the guides and the star family, our ancestors and angels, in what it feels like is super important to share as we move through this journey together and personally. But y'all, the collective is getting really, really strong. Like, I can barely contain when I come into my events, which I just had one on Lionsgate, and I tap in, and it just is so prevalent for me. The tears usually flow, but I can also feel when we move through the clearing, when the healing's coming in, when the light's being integrated. That's why I invite you to come to some of my portal events or my membership community, where we really do this deep sacred circle work, and we're tapping into the light lines and the energy grid, and we're absolutely elevating this consciousness of humanity, of the universe, of the galaxy, of all of it, right? And so thank you for subscribing. And if you like this video, if you're getting support, just go ahead and like it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what really resonated with you, and share it with a friend, y'all. I could really use your support and help right now to get these messages out on a mass scale, because that's where my guides are leading me. They're asking me to share more of the channeled messages, more of what I'm here to do online, whereas before I've been really kind of holding the most supreme power that I unleash with the collective in my in-person containers. And that's going to start transforming. I've been going through a major rebirth, just like all of you have, since the spring equinox, and it just keeps ramping up. Y'all, by the time we get to the fall equinox, be ready to totally unleash your magic in absolute new ways from your new foundation of courage, from that heart space and heart-led life and center where you are no longer self-sacrificing. You are living in your fullest and brightest light and knowing that that is an emanation, that is a frequency that ripples out for everyone to elevate with, even in the discomfort, even if there is a disconnect for someone with how bright you're becoming, let them go through that healing space. Let them crack open and trust that you will come back in a place of beautiful empowerment. Y'all, this little piece of sage is getting wild. It is cleansing the heck out of the space right now for us. Oh, that's hilarious. Today I was like, oh, I'm just going to do a little piece of sage, and that gets like so much bigger than the big chunk of sage. Okay, here we go. So I shared a little bit about me as a sacred medicine guide, and really what that is I am here to help you reawaken and remember the ancient encoded wisdom that you came into these bodies with. It resides in your cells. All of it is there. It has been suppressed through generations, through lifetimes, through this iteration in this body, all of the traumas and the suffering that we and the stories that we have placed on those experiences. Because y'all, the message I'm getting today to share is that we have to normalize pain. We even have to normalize trauma, because that is a part of this human experience. None of us escape it. It doesn't matter what sex we are, what sexual orientation we are, what race we are, how much money we have or don't have. None of that matters. This is part of the human awakening and unfolding. It's when we attach stories to it that it becomes the trauma that is held within our system, or the suffering that we live with and from. So take that in deeply right now. Take that into your heart. Write it on a Post-it note. Keep it in your awareness. This is so sacred and important. Okay, so what we do in these videos is, like I said, I tap into these big energies around the new and full moon and share with you what my channel is saying it's important for us to really be aware of. So I don't go into all of the transits. I'm also an evolutionary astrologer, even though that's not like my heart-led offering. That's always a part of it. I think all of us should become astrologers at this point, because when you're your own astrologer, you have so much more of that strength in the co-creative abilities and the movements that are coming in and out, and more of that awareness of that cosmic weather and how you move with nature, you move with the tides, you move with the moon, you move with the planets, and that's normal. We can't be up here 24/7. If we were, we wouldn't be here on this earth as humans. We're bringing the divine into this experience, and we continue to elevate and go higher and higher. And when we come back to those ebbs, you know, out of the flow and into the ebb, into the shadow work, into, you know, the duality and the contrast, we actually approach it from a higher frequency, but we're still going to continue to go through that, because that's how we grow. Growing is our lifeblood as humans. So we don't want to ever stop growing. That's like the gas that fuels this experience in really beautiful ways. Okay. So that's where we go, and stick around to the end, because I have one of my new decks of cards that are coming in this rebirth. And I am going to pull even more direct messages from the guides through the deck, through the oracle, and share them with you. So here we go, a little bit deeper. I touched on the Lionsgate. So like I said, we're still in this portal until August 12th. This happens when our fixed star of Sirius, which is known as our spiritual sun, rises, and it aligns with the earth. and it aligns with Orion and the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Okay. And this is just a pouring in of light consciousness, light codes, light downloads, plasmic light. And we've got to be ready. This again is the co-creation. We have to create space in our body and also time in our present moment activation to receive those codes and downloads that are coming in and integrate them into ourselves. It's like reawaken and activate the light that's already in ourselves. It's almost like Wonder Twin powers activate, right? When that light comes together and we move through and we release the tightness or the tension of the stories, right? I don't even want to say traumas. Like I want to say stories that are imprinting ourselves. What does this mean about me that I had this experience? You know, where am I showing up in my life from a place of lack, from a place of scarcity? Like that's really important because in this Lionsgate portal, we are moving from fear, scarcity, and lack consciousness into abundance consciousness. And that's why in the event that I held, it was so beautiful. It was so powerful. If you were there, let us know in the comments. Let us know how you moved through that space. And thank you for holding such a pillar of light and strength for all of us, because there was a lot of movement, a lot of transformation and transmutation that was happening there. I felt it. I tapped in. So that is why I actually was moved to share the Lemurian codes that are coming through my channel. That was the debut online. I've never shared those codes before, but they keep coming in stronger and stronger, and I'm being guided to share them with you. So at that event, there were 269 of us in that hour, absolutely raising the grid, raising the collective consciousness, creating more light in acupuncture points of the world. There were people from all over the world joining us. And I just feel so honored and grateful that that many people were called to come and share this experience with me and this evolution with me, because we were upgrading our DNA together. I felt it happen. So let us know in the comments. I would love to hear your experience. I've heard some really powerful ones so far where people had some amazing epiphanies and enlightenments that they've been holding in the energy and in the field, and they came through at that time. So I invite you, when I offer an event, come be a part of it. These events happen always in my membership community. Like I said before, they are really, really profound. And we're becoming so powerful as a collective. And I love it. I love it. I'm here for it, right? And I'm here just to hold the space for you as you move through that unfolding. You will come to the place that you're ready when you're ready. And it's such a beautiful thing. So go beyond, the control of needing it to happen and just get into the allowance of it revealing and showing up for you, and you being flexible, flowing, and ready to receive that new activation or that new octave that is inviting you and calling you in. Okay. So speaking of the channeling, I just want to say the last video I dropped here, it's interesting because I started to share the channeling there, and I didn't even actually do the frequency channeling and the sound channeling. That's my most potent medicine. I shared it through my translation and the words for you. And I had the most people leave the community in that video. So let me know what you think. How does that feel for you? Does it feel like maybe this isn't the platform for me to be sharing this kind of activation that's raw, it's vulnerable, it's intimate, it's something you've not experienced before? But if you've been in my community, you know that one of our greatest superpowers is being and believing in the possibilities that we have not yet experienced or we haven't learned about in the linear mind through history. That is when we move in quantum shifts. And that is why I am guided to share these levels of transmission with you, because it's going to reignite and remind your cells of what they know as we deconstruct and dismantle all of this programming, this training, this cultural conditioning, and even the holds and the limitations that we've latched onto from the stories that we're holding on to from past experiences. So I would love to hear that in the comments below. I just found that interesting as I continue to see people leaving the community after that video. So let me know if you want me to keep bringing the channeling here, or if I should put it over on Insight Timer, where I'm putting more energy, more events, just FYI. Okay, let's get into more of this Leo new moon. I'm going to talk about a few of the transits. This is major manifestation energy. One of the channeled messages that came through in that Lionsgate event as I was in the Lemurian channels was that your heart field is the unified field. So the more that we work with the heart and we start to feel the electromagnetic frequency, the light that emits from the photonic light that emits from our hearts, just like a Care Bear, that's what we are. We actually do emit that light. And when you can start to feel that and play with it and be more aware of it, know that that's the unified field. We don't have to go up to get into that quantum field, or I like to call it the realm of unconditioned, where the Akashic records lie. They're here in the heart. And this is what the Venus retrograde in Leo during Lionsgate is really activating for us. It's asking you to break your heart open and reveal the quantum knowledge that is already there. That is where we are going to be accelerating into this galactic initiation that we're moving deeper and deeper into. I mean, the light is just pouring on the planet. Go ahead and check out your space weather app and you will see the solar flares are wild. They're not even C class anymore. They're pretty much just M class and X class. So know that this is actually, we are absorptive. We are energy before anything else. So anything that's in the energy, that's in the field, that's in the frequency is us. We are it, okay? But we are so powerful that it comes down to where you put your attention, your belief, your thoughts, because that becomes your frequency. So when you put it into the light integration, that becomes your higher frequency. That becomes the magnetization of manifestation, because you start vibrating in that more and more when you normalize it. So whatever are the neural patterns that are happening. And the message that I got right before I came on here is to basically allow your heart to break open right now. As we move in towards the blue Pisces full moon, let your heart break open. I will tell you, I'm going to move this real quick. I will tell you that last night and today, I fell to my knees, sobbing out of nowhere. Last night, I went out to go under the stars and I just fell to my knees, crying from the deepest place of my heart. I don't need to know why. We've got to get out of this constant need of like, I need to understand it. I need to pick it apart. I have to know every single piece of it, because that keeps us too linear. It keeps us looking for steps to get somewhere. We've got to go dynamic. We have to go spiral, right? We have to be available for limitless energy and potentials at all times. Above us, below us, around us, behind us, everywhere. So open your heart in the front, open your heart to the back. That's why I do the embodiment and integrative practices in those events. I don't do them here. I don't have time, but I do them in those events. Let your cells tell you what is coming in to actually move you forward in soul growth and ease and divinity and majesty and manifestation, all of it. Oh, and speaking of manifestation, I have a free Manifest Like a Champ Masterclass. Come to that August 22nd. It's in the links below. Sign up. Like, you'll be amazed at how far you go when you have this remembrance of what I'm sharing in manifestation energy and practice. Okay, so let your heart break open. Let yourself fall to your knees and just bawl and release. Let the emotion out without having to know exactly where it's coming from or how it happened or any of that story. Okay. And then get deeper into your giving and receiving. This is where in Venus, right? The South Node is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. We have a whole Uranus lineup happening right now, which is in Taurus, ruled by Venus. We've got a Venus retrograde happening right now. So we've got to get our Venus on, y'all. Like, this is it. And it's lit. Giving and receiving. So I want to focus on receiving right now. How easily do you receive compliments, help, support? How do you receive that? Is there resistance? Do you feel guilt? Because giving and receiving are of the same energy. Giving is amazing. Like, continue to give, absolutely. We also want to receive because we need you to be nourished. We need you to feel like lit up. We need you to feel well and feel cared for because we need your medicine. And the way that we share our medicine is by coming back to our center and coming back to our wholeness and feeling like our cup is full of energy, of love, of support, of connection, and of sustenance. So of money, of whatever construct it is that we use in this life, that can be bartering, of gardens, of food, whatever it is, right? So remember, when you're giving any of these things, make sure you're giving them in a really beautiful way. Grassroots, independent, local, small business. Be so intentional with where you give. Be so intentional in how you receive, and watch your manifestation grow exponentially in this energy right now. Yes, I'm getting a yes, yes, yes. Okay, real quick, I'm going to show you the chart because it seems like y'all are liking it when I do that. So if you want to learn more about reading charts, I'm going to show you the transits that I want to look at, and we'll go from there. Okay, y'all, I am staying in orange for this Leo energy, your Lionheart energy, your solar plexus, because I continue to get the message through this Venus retrograde as well that it's all about the heart and solar plexus. The solar plexus is where we receive a lot of that intuition and those intuitive hits. It's like that gut instinct. And the heart is where we want to live from. We want to have a heart-led life in courage, in bravery, in moving through the emotions and the feelings, which are our superpower. They actually elevate us and evolve our DNA more and move through cellular upgrades in really beautiful ways. Okay, the first thing that is so beautiful that I want to share with you is, I'm going to highlight it right here, this grand trine. And it's in Earth, okay? So we're looking up here at Uranus in Taurus, and over here at Pluto in Capricorn, and down here we've got them trine with each of these, Mercury and Mars in Virgo. This isn't necessarily a conjunction because it's over 10 degrees apart, but they are both in the same sign, so there's power to that, and they're each going to trine both of these, Uranus and Pluto. So this is a really powerful Earth space for us to move through. Remember, Uranus and Taurus, that can be money, like new money coming in for you personally in really surprising and unexpected ways. That's that manifestation energy. It can be through your love, your value, your giving, receiving, your relationships, beauty, simplicity, nature, right? When we look at all of the Taurus themes, you want to be careful of getting stuck here or being stubborn in anything. So that's why I like it in Uranus, because Uranus basically plows through any of that stickiness. And it's like, here's a big surprise for you. Boom. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to respond? Right? And I mean, we can look here. We've got Jupiter in Taurus at 14, and Virgo over here is at 19. So that's a trine between, Virgo. Yes. Mercury in Virgo over here is at 19. So that's a trine between Jupiter and Virgo. Yeah, it's incredible, but we like trine energy because it's just harmonious energy. It's balance. It's like good fortune energy that we don't really have to work at. We don't have to be super aware of it. It's going to bring more of that abundant energy, especially with Jupiter in the mix, because Jupiter expands anything that it touches. So that's a really nice thing. And Virgo, we love Mars and Virgo. You're all getting your shit done. I'm getting more done than I have in months because of Mars and Virgo. And then when we combine Mars and Mercury in Virgo, it's going to help us take action in how we are speaking and communicating and how we're thinking and the way that we want to share that. And remember, Virgo energy is the body-mind connection as well, that health piece. So that can really, this is a great time to create new wellness practices, new higher consciousness practices like I'm talking about. That's going to help you break your heart open when you keep coming back to center, you keep coming back to the present moment, and you keep asking for support and guidance from your team, your spiritual team, who are always there wanting to, they want you to see what they're sharing with you, and you can see it in the present moment through your senses, not just through your sight. And then, of course, we've got Pluto and Capricorn over here, which is also continuing to square the nodes. And so the nodes, this is the death and rebirth. And here, let me get rid of this and I'll show you that square. So here's Pluto and Capricorn, and it's squaring the nodes here, the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So we're getting more of that death around the self-sacrifice that you've been in for probably your entire lifetime. And that's where you're being asked to crack your heart open. Let it break open. The only way that you're going to heal any of this self-sacrifice, any of these stories that you're carrying around from the wounds and traumas and pains of your life and of your relationships, is to reveal them. So if you keep denying them or bypassing them or telling yourself in your mind that you're past it, but your heart is telling a whole different story, it's going to get more and more uncomfortable. So now is the time for you to get super effing transparent with yourself. Get really real with where you are and what wants to come up. Get excited about it instead of getting embarrassed or feeling guilty about it, right? That's so important, because we can only heal what we feel, and we're only going to feel what we are willing to reveal. I'm a poet and I didn't know it, because we have free will. And we are that powerful. We can keep stuffing things down. We can keep denying them. We can keep telling ourselves a different story. And then we can stay in dis-ease, disconnection, discomfort, stress. And that only compounds the trauma and the wounds. And we're really moving here with the Leo energy and the North Node in Aries. Oh, it's so good. We're moving to our courage, our strength, the stage of our life, our soul's blueprint. Aries is all about your soul's blueprint and how do you come out into the world with it. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So how do you burst into the world without a filter, without all of that programming that has been layered on you? So let yourself burst into your world as the pioneer, as the maverick, into something that you've not done before, but it's been tapping on your soul. Like, let yourself do something totally new that you've always thought about, but you've just like poo-pooed it, right? Like if skydiving, like that's a no for me. But if that's something that you feel that excitement in your cells about, but you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. Make it happen. Create the environment for it to happen. Whatever it is. Like for me, mine would probably be more like paragliding. So feel into what is it that has wanted you to have more joy and more fun and just more dynamic flow in your life that creates a new excitement, a new energy, a new possibility that you've been denying. And then let yourself feel what happens when you have that yes energy in there. When you say yes to yourself, when you say yes to the dress of your life, right? And you stop ignoring the body consciousness message of it tapping on your soul and coming back at certain times through your life. I want to tell you this Uranus lineup. So on the 9th, we had Uranus squaring Venus retrograde. So that came down here and squared Venus here. So that was the first. And then we, on the 13th, are going to have Venus and the sun in Cazimi. So Venus goes into the heart of the sun. So that's going to be really a pivotal point, a turning point of getting, it's almost like this Venus goes into the dark, but it's in the most exquisite light of dark because we can't see it anymore because it's in the sun. Yet it's like it's getting bathed in the light to be rebirthed. And on the other side is when it comes out, and then it goes into retrograde on the 29th. Before the 29th, we've got Venus squaring Jupiter. So we've got Venus here, and it's going to square Jupiter on the 22nd. Okay, so remember, with a square, it can be more of a challenging energy. So we just have to have an awareness to work with it. It's not like the trine where the energy just feels freaking good and comes through and it's like, ah, this is where you've got to be aware of that Leo for fire signs, can be the most self-absorbed or maybe even unaware. So we do need to look at that, of having that awareness of what's the motivation, what's the energy of your heart and your center stage. When you stand out on stage, are you standing there in the energy of benevolence, of support, of care, of sharing your message and guidance? Or are you standing there apart from everything or everyone else? So really let yourself feel into that. I know that can be intense hearing that, but it's something that we really want to look at when Jupiter is expanding any of this Leo energy. So that's why we want to let our hearts break open on the 13th in this Venus star point, which is the Cazimi in the sun, when it's being bathed and rebirthed in that nourished light. When it's so powerful, it can't be seen to the rest of us. And then the last thing I want to chat about are the retrogrades. So on the 23rd, Mercury in Virgo, it won't be at 19 degrees anymore, but that's going to go into retrograde. So we want to be aware of that, of really, how are we thinking? I'll probably do an extra video on the Mercury retrograde. And then Uranus goes into retrograde on the 29th. Again, it won't be at that degree. We'll have 7 planets in retrograde by then, y'all. It's going to be a really big time of looking at how you are showing up. What else wants to be permanently let go? That's no longer a part of your journey, a part of this experience. That story is not serving you or anyone else in your highest and best good. And this brings me back to letting yourself be in your fullest, brightest light and trusting that everyone else is going to get from that exactly what they need, even when it's uncomfortable or difficult because it's a trigger for them. That's what they need at that time. And that's how you're here to be a teacher. You didn't come here to play small or to dim your light. And that's when you're going to start being in the most powerful and empowered place of alignment. And you're going to experience the magic that these human bodies came in to produce in your life. Woo! Okay, y'all, that was a really big one. Like I said, I'm trying to make these videos smaller and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The other thing I want to mention is, as I'm inviting you to break your heart open and let it be bathed, nourished, and rebirthed in the Venus star point, in the Venus Cazimi on the 13th, know that I have a free heart activation meditation. I am going to link it up here. It's on this channel. You can save it, come back to it every single day. Watch your life change. When you make this commitment, when you show up to something like this every day, and all you have to do is push play and be present. That's it. You don't have to come up with the meditation. You don't have to come up with the guidance and the words. I've done all of that for you. We're co-creating together. But when you show up every day, when you create the time for this, because we all have the same amount of time, but when you prioritize the time for this, non-resistant thought, moving into your heart space, being present and feeling what wants to be revealed and healed so that you can live here and not here. Woo! Y'all, we are going to be unstoppable. That is where we are going. So this is a very exciting time. I thank you for continuing to show up, to do the work, to move through the discomfort, to stay on that precipice, take the leap, keep searching for, calling in the people that will cheerlead you on, that make it impossible almost for you to go back and retreat to what your nervous system has known and the neural patterns that you've created. So you get to be the new imaginator and the new visionary and architect of a new earth life filled with ease and thriving and filled with a collective that is vibrating in love, which creates abundance and benevolence. And we tap into the benevolence of this universe. Let's check the cards. I'm only going to pull one card because of the time factor that we're in now. I'm sure I'm way over time at this point. I might have to edit this down a little bit. Look at a card jumped out. Exchanging gifts. I kind of feel like I don't even need to talk about that because that's exactly what I feel like I've been, on one of my intense rants, divine rants throughout this video and this exchange, this transmission, but it's important, y'all. We are in big times right now, and I don't want any of us to miss it. Being in that event with 269 of us, feeling the power of what happened, and then hearing about the unfolding and revealing that came to each person that's sharing with me, I know what's possible when we come together like this. So I am here for it, and I'm going to keep inviting you into it as well. So let's keep exchanging our gifts. Let's keep showing up together. Let's keep letting ourselves be in these sacred spaces in full vulnerability, where we're held in a way that we've never felt through the generations, through our lineage. We're held in all of who we are, in all of the wounds, the discomfort in the transformation, in the beauty, in the elevation, in the evolution. We're held, and we're able to share freely without the story. This is the most important piece of exchanging gifts and coming together in these communities and these circles. So even if it's not mine, find a circle, join it, and just be amazed at how quickly things shift for you and your life starts being created from you in absolutely new ways. I love you all so much. Make sure to stick around for the next message. It will probably be the Mercury retrograde. I have an amazing podcast coming out probably this week. Let me know if you have questions. I'm here for support, especially if you want to know anything about my containers, my programs, my events. Hit me up at therawandwildhearts@gmail.com. Check out my hub at therawandwildhearts.com. This is going off. I just keep getting more and more potent, and I can't wait to do deeper work with you if your cells are feeling called. Okay, y'all, until next time, don't forget to keep looking up.